Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you guys are doing good. My name is Rita. For those of you who do not know, if you're new to this channel, my name is Rita and this is Nshuti Creations UG page, and I share with you my sewing tutorials. I teach you how to sew. I share sewing hacks, and I also once in a while I post a personal vlog for you guys to get to know more about me, because yeah, it's good to know the person you get to watch. And yeah, so if you're interested in that kind of content, please first of all subscribe, like right now. Thank you for those of you who have already subscribed, and for those of you who haven't, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to like my videos, don't forget to share, and yeah, you can also go ahead and hit the notification bell to be notified every time I post a new video. And if you're interested in online classes, I'm going to have a number running down below, so it's my WhatsApp number, and you can get in touch with me. Yeah, so that's it. Let's get into the video. Let's get into today's tutorial and let's see what I have for you today. All right, thanks. Have a blessed day. So today we are going to learn how to drape a skirt, draping, to make drapes at the front of a skirt. So first of all, we are going to pattern draft on brown paper. You can use white paper as long as it's pattern drafting paper, and make sure you fold it into two. So here I'm just marking the different lines, that the waistline, the hip line, the knee line, and the length. So that's the hip line, that's the knee line. The real start at the top was the waistline. What's taking me so long writing? And that's going to be our hem. That's going to be the length, and that's the hem. So fold your paper as you've seen me do, and that's the waist where we're going to start from. So next I'm going to mark all my horizontal measurements, because I've already marked the vertical. So here I'm just writing down the different measurements I took from the client, of the waistline, the hip line, and the length. So first of all, I'm going to mark the waistline. Whatever you're going to mark, remember to mark your horizontal measurements. If you've drafted a skirt before, mark your horizontal measurements divided by 4. So yeah, that's the waist circumference divided by 4. What you get is what you mark, plus 2 inches seam allowance. And then yeah, and then I'm marking a dart, but later on I decided not to use the dart. Here I just marked it on the paper, and that, to get your dart, it is the bust span that you use to get that point of the dart. So here I just marked it, but we are not going to use it. And then I marked the 1 inch for that dart. I added it on the waist allowance, on the waist measurement, but I'm not going to use it. So I first decided to draft like as though drafting a basic skirt. So ignore all the calculations. I'm doing so many calculations here, but yeah. So next we're going to go with a hip line. Again, you mark your hip circumference, divide by 4. That's what you mark there. And then also mark 2 inches seam allowance. I also added another 2 inches seam for padding, because my client was going to put on like those artificial hips for padding. Like I was going to pad the skirt part. So That is why I added those extra 2 inches. So then so by the way, guys, those artificial pads that we add in the skirts or the dresses, my god, they make like a very big difference, and they make the outfit look so good. So yeah, you should think about doing that. So here I'm just adding the extra pattern paper to get my because it's going to be like an A-line dress, and adding it to the train, which is going to be at the back. Here I'm just adding extra, basically I'm just adding extra, what do you call it, like extra fabric or extra pattern paper to be able to achieve what I want. So you can stick it together with your masking tape. Whenever you're drafting and you're using you're going to draft drapes, guys, you need masking tape. You need masking tape. That is a must, because you're going to keep on adding, cutting, and then rejoining. So masking tape really helps. So here I just go on adding it everywhere, and then after I'm going to continue with my drafting. So next I'm going to mark, I'm just drawing like a straight line. Here I'm first getting the length of the skirt, and then I mark like a straight line from the hip line down to the hemline. I just use a free hand to draft like a straight line going down, because remember guys, this is going to be the front of the fabric. So this is the front panel. So yeah, just for it, it's going to be straight. It's only the back that will have a train. So here just mark the length of the dress as measured for the client. After that, you just cut it out. Use as much fabric as you have, depending on what the client wants actually. So here I'm just cutting it out, and then after we're going to work on the lining first, guys. When you're draping fabric, the lining for the lining should not be the same as the main fabric. No, it shouldn't be. The lining should be the normal, like a basic skirt or a basic panel for a dress, and then it's only the outer part that should be the way you want it to be. So that's how the skirt is going to look like, guys. I just haven't cut out the part of the waist, but I'm going to do so shortly. So I'm just trying to show you when you open up the panel, that's how it looks. That's how it's going to look. But remember, the other side has not been cut, guys. I haven't cut out the other side. I'm only focusing on this side because of my pattern paper. So yeah, here I'm just cutting out the waist part. So it's going to flow exactly like that, and it will be the same on the right, on both the left and the right. So here I'm just going to mark I'm going to make the lines for the drapes. So I went 2 inches from below the waist. That's where I'm starting from. So after that, I'm going to go on marking 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch up to below the hip line. So just mark 2 inches from the waistline. That's why that should be your starting point for marking the drape lines, and then go in by just 1 inch. So just keep marking 1 inch going down, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. So that is going to depend on the drapes, on the number of drapes that you want. So next, on the other side, I'm marking. I decided to mark my two
sorry guys, I had to fold the paper again and then first cut out the waist part also, you see, so the waist to the hip line to make that curve. Then after, on the other side, I went in by 2 inches. I went by 2 inches instead of 1 inch, and then from the waistline I went down by 5 inches from the waistline, and then that was my starting point. So I went in by 2 inches going down. I marked, I think, about 9 lines on that side. So that's how it looks folded. So yes, that's how it looks folded. And now I'm going to use this pattern paper to cut out the lining. Like I told you guys, the lining should not have drape. So, and the fabric that I'm using for my lining is kind of stretchy. So yeah, for it, I don't want to add anything like any drapes on it. So here I'm just aligning my fabric to make sure I get it straight so that I can cut it out very well. So after aligning everything well, I placed my folded pattern paper on top. And now the only seam allowance I added to this was the one for joining the waistline, which was 1/2 inch, and then the rest I went up to the corner of the fabric. Like I said, use as much fabric as you can if the client wants it. So here I'm making it big. It's going to be an A-line because the client wants it to actually flow and yeah, be as big as I'm cutting it. So that's why I'm making that. This is not a mermaid's cut. It's not those ones. It's an A-line. So that's what I'm making right now. So just cut it all through. Make sure you cut like a straight line. And then when you're done, remember this is my lining and it's stretchy fabric. So yeah, now we're going to get back to our pattern paper to cut out the front. So here I'm just notching the midpoint, and that's all I did. Remember, I only added one allowance, which was the 0.5 inch allowance at the waistline, like at the top of the waistline only. So now with my pattern paper, I'm going to open it again and then slash out these cut out these lines. Remember, when you're draping fabric, there is one way to drape the fabric, and one way to do it is the slash and spread method. So that's the one I'm doing right now. As you can see, when you're cutting, make sure you don't cut it out completely. Just cut out up to and leave out about 1 inch at the end that is not cut, so that you can spread your pattern paper very well without it disturbing you. So I didn't want to waste a lot of time, so I decided to cut the rest of camera. And as you can see, those are the slashed papers. Yeah, and they're the ones I'm going to use. So then get another pattern paper where you're going to redraft this where you're going to spread your pattern that has been slashed. So just watch carefully what I'm going to do. So yeah, just spread out your paper. And guys, if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. If you like this kind of content and you've liked it so far, please, or if you've learned something, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I post a new video. And yeah, so let's get back to work. So now I'm marking 2 inches. I decided to mark 2 inches, like I would open it. Let me explain while you're seeing what I'm doing. So open, mark 2 inches below the already, I don't know, just, you see what I'm doing? I'm looking for a way to explain it, guys. So the slashed papers, spread it out, mark 2 inches and spread it out, and then use your masking tape to hold it down. Okay, so here again we're going to mark 2 inches. Just watch and learn. 2 inches, yeah, and then put this slashed paper on the 2-inch mark, and make sure the other side is also aligned well, and then yeah, place it down with your masking tape. So you can watch again. Let me repeat it, and hold the other side down too, so that it doesn't keep moving, plus the midpoint. Wherever you see necessary to hold it down using your masking tape. So again, we're going to mark 2 inches. We're going to mark 2 inches from this. You see the slashed paper that has just been attached on the new pattern paper? Yes, that's where you start from to mark your 2 inches. Mark your 2 inches, and then put this other slashed paper, the new one, on the 2-inch mark, and then hold it down. Mark another 2 inches, starting on the one that you've just placed down. Put this on the 2-inch mark, and then hold down like that. So guys, just keep going, doing that until all your slashed papers are done. You can do as many inches as you want. You can do 3 inches. You can, depending on how big your drape, how big you want the drape. So yeah, just do that. Mark your 2 inches again, and then go in again like that. And then yeah, just keep doing that until you get to the last part, which is this one. So here I've joined everything, and I'm just going to cut it out. So when you're cutting out, follow the pattern paper where you slashed and where you slash the pieces from. It's the one that you should follow. So just go on cutting. Make sure while you're cutting, you cut it out nicely, and make sure it's neat. It doesn't have corners. So just yeah, cut it out well, and make sure it sits nicely. So just if you don't understand what I'm saying, at least follow what I'm doing. So yeah, that is it. And then on the other side, we are also going to cut out the other excess part of the paper. Now the challenge I got is part of my video. I don't know what happened, but I lost the footage. I lost the remaining footage of cutting out this pattern on fabric. So what you see is what I remained with. But I'm gonna do better next time, guys. I'm really sorry you couldn't get everything, but yeah, I'm gonna do better. Anyway, this was a pattern drafting video, so I've already shown you the pattern drafting. So the remaining part was the joining, which is in part 2, but I did not record it. Maybe I'll record it for another client, in case I get another client who wants something similar to this. Reason being, this one was what's the word? This one was really long, and I couldn't do everything on camera. So yeah, that's why I didn't even bother. And remember at the waistline again, remember what we did for the lining, we added 0.5 inch at the waistline. So we are doing the same here on this. This is the front fabric, remember guys. So we are also adding 0.5 inches at the top of the waistline. And then we're just going to follow the pattern paper, excluding the other corner that has surpassed. We're not going to cut that out. We're just going to follow the first pattern paper. All right, thanks for watching.